Hello, everyone. Welcome to Easy Allies reacting to Cyberpunk and Night City Wire. This countdown's already done. I guess we're having a pre-show right now. But how's it going, everyone? I'm joined by Brad Ellis,
Yo.
Daniel Bloworth,
Hello.
Brandon Jones,
Yo, as well.
Mike Huber.
Muted.
Muted Huber. Punished Huber.
Muted.
It's all right, Huber. That says it all. And Ben Moore, who's still there?
Yeah,
Who's
we
joining
went
us
earlier than expected, so.
Yeah, just because whatever this is, their countdown ended, but who knows? But yeah, Cyberpunk. Blood, did you see they kind of give us a rundown of what we're getting today, right? Like in terms of format?
Yeah, there's going to be a trailer, a demo, and some talking. 25 minutes or so after Keely's done.
Do we
We've
want
become
to
well
hear
versed in
Keely?
the Cyberpunk update. If it ain't broke, why fix it? They're, they got their format.
Oh, there we go.
There's the real countdown.
That's the real countdown to a countdown on Twitch. Yeah, here we go. You want to unmute Keely, chat? All right.
Oh, so Keely's going to give his impressions afterwards. Got it.
Gotcha.
So if you're not aware, a very limited number of people got to play a 4-hour preview that yeah, they're going to be able to talk about after the presentation is over.
To play it, but I'm going to get to tell you about my experience, what it was like. Literally,
yeah, not us.
Must
Not us this time,
nice.
Not us.
but I've been
Must
talking
be
with them,
nice.
so we're good.
Only those who had the newest ray tracing update were able.
provided to me, which I'm sure some of it will be similar to what's in the event. But we have.
I feel like there's a deep pockets joke somewhere in here.
Deep pockets.
Brand new stuff that I'll get to show you guys as well. So I didn't get to
If you didn't have the
playthrough,
the Cyberpunk 2080 Ti, you
you
weren't even considered.
There's a lot of Cyberpunk coming today, and I think Night City Wire.
It's funny because actually I know a bit about how it
aspects
went
of the
down,
game
but
that
yeah,
we're
it's
gonna
not
talk
anything
about
I can
got
share.
to play that I can't tell you about.
Yeah, chat. Here's a fun
it
bet.
was-
Will it be the
it's really
3080
fun to
Ti,
play,
or are they actually going to call it
it
the
felt like a
3090?
brand new-
I've seen a rumor they might ditch the Ti moniker and go with a 30. They call their high-end one 3090. Well, the Titan will be the highest end, but
That seems like smarter to me. Smarter branding,
I
I
think
suppose.
I put this on Twitter, but you guys
look at this
There's the bag
flexing.
they sent him.
Flexing.
Street Kid backpack. I don't think there's.
That's something though. Like
Double check
this
that,
is,
because I haven't opened
they
it.
probably are gonna have a ton of these things left over because they probably
Try
ordered them for
refreshing your
E3.
stream
That's a Street
if
Kid
you think
backpack
this
that
sync's
they gave me, so,
off.
that was kind of fun.
CD
It
Projekt
looks-
Red, every E3
Oh, yeah.
they always
Yeah.
give you something.
And
And so yeah, I'm sure they've probably got.
Played it
Played it
before
before
launch.
launch,
Oh
dude.
come on! No, I would make a fire and toss that in there. I would be like, nope,
Remember, I had one of those for Witcher.
For Witcher,
nope.
yeah.
I would throw that in the
Witcher.
fire.
That thing. I don't have it anymore.
Anyway, so
I would
that,
film us going to
and then
Goodwill
I
and
got
donating
this-
that. Like, goodbye. Don't come here.
And these are the three
So
life
funny.
paths that you
I
basically.
keep forgetting
every
that
game
it's-
had that,
Mike too loud. I'll lower it.
I keep forgetting that it's
How's
like
that?
E3
How's
that?
times, so a lot of
And then
these,
there's this one I played.
That's the thing.
Presentations.
Every one of us
Yeah.
should have played
I
this,
played
this
this
preview by
as-
now.
Kid
I
backpack.
keep forgetting that.
So I put a poll on Twitter, but
So is Corvo
you
the
guys in
corporation
chat can
style,
guess
the brand manager? That's
Corpo.
Corpo. Oh, Corpo.
Corvo.
Yeah.
Which one did I play? Corpo, Street Kid, or
Definitely
Nomad?
Corpo for life.
Vote now, and you will find out at the
Really,
bottom of the
Jones?
hour.
Corpo?
It's
Oh, hell
brand
yeah,
manager.
Corpo,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
I can't wait.
What
Oh, I
else would you
can't
expect?
wait.
Different, I think. The
Yeah,
other
what do
guys
you
are.
expect Jones to do, dude?
Oh, I guess.
Oh yeah.
From
Thrilled.
it. So,
Hey, Hero,
anyways,
maybe I'll go
it's
Corpo
pretty
just for
cool.
spite.
No. No.
Cyberpunk is coming out this year, as you guys probably know.
Okay,
Got
Finally get back into
unfortunately
the
delayed
office.
again
Like,
in
what's up,
Yeah.
Huber? What's up,
November,
Corpo?
Yeah.
is the latest
Do you have
release
Keely
date,
muted,
that they are
Damiani?
talking about
Just
for
making
it.
sure.
No,
no,
we don't.
Nine
Chat
Okay.
wanted to hear him.
7 seconds
Got it.
away,
You can handle that on your end. Yeah.
from the Cyberpunk event.
They're just wondering.
So,
They're just totally talking over it.
down a little bit there.
Yeah.
But so
Night City
you know, Cyberpunk
8:50
is
in
coming
the
out in
morning.
November. One thing that you may also have noticed is that it's going to be
night
compatible
somewhere.
with the new generation of consoles.
I'm muting myself for the
you know,
weed
this
whacker.
year, PlayStation
Weed
5,
whacker.
Xbox Series X are both coming
Critical
out.
Path Gaming.
You know,
Are
they
you
haven't
saying
announced
we're
dates
at a
beyond
sync
kind of
or
holiday
Keely's
this
at a
year,
sync?
but
I
widely
heard,
assumed
or I
that
saw
they will
someone say
probably come
Keely
out
was,
in,
not us.
November, if not
I mean, his
before that.
video
Who
is
knows this
slightly
year
out of
with
sync
the
that I'm
pandemic
watching right
going on.
now. I can't fix
but then
that.
when Cyberpunk pushed to November, a lot of people wondered naturally,
Yeah.
That's
well,
it's
you know, what's
fine
gonna
It's
on
happen
my
there?
end,
Like,
so I
am
don't know if
buying a new
you might want to
console?
refresh.
You know, am I going to be able to? Is it going to be compatible first of all? Which is the case. So if you buy a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, Cyberpunk the game is going to work on it. And this is a
Chat,
unique
all you have to do
generation
is go
in
to
that, you know, there's gonna be
twitch.tv/the
forwards
Game Awards and
compatibility,
tell me
backwards
if the sync
compatibility, and
you're seeing the
we're
same
trying to
thing
figure out how
there
that's
is
all gonna
here.
work.
If you're seeing the same
The
thing
basic
there,
idea
that's
is
them.
Cyberpunk you're going to be able to play on you know, whatever console you have later this
Keely.
year, and of course on PC. It's going to look great. I played.
If you're
it,
still seeing it on their
PC. We actually did this cool
Twitch
streaming
then
technology
channel,
since we can't
then
really go
yeah,
anywhere with in-person events.
not
So I played
something
the
I
game
can
on
fix.
PC with a controller is how I played it. But of course, it's coming to PC
Got way
and
quieter.
console.
Seeing a lot of people
in
saying it's fine.
November.
Yeah, he
so,
got more
you know, the
quiet. He
game,
got
we've
lower.
seen a lot of it over the years. Certainly remember some great E3 demos, two in particular that CD Projekt Red has done around this game. And of
Ben will
course,
be here.
last year, you know,
We just
big
went live early
Keanu
because Keely's
Reeves, come out
countdown
on
threw us
stage
off.
to introduce his Johnny
Wait.
Silverhand
we're
in
2 minutes
in the
past
game.
50.
So we will hear more about
Dude, he's
the
got a
game
battering
from CD
behind him,
Projekt
Viewer.
Red in about
Yeah,
8
I
minutes
mean,
now.
he's
had
had
this
the
the
whole
whole
time.
we should
last
point that out
year,
every
with
single
these guys,
time
you may remember back
because
at,
we got to
Game
make sure
Awards,
Keely
we had
knows.
a
we need
soundtrack
He
Batman.
confirmed that he was
announcement.
not
We'll have
revealing the
Grimes
Batman
on
game at some
stage,
point. Someone on Twitter told me.
performing,
Yeah.
premiering her song
That he got
for Am,
asked about
which
it.
is featured in the game, and Grimes
Huber
will
is
actually be
not still
involved in the
muted,
game as
chat,
well. So they got an amazing soundtrack for this. Run the Jewels is involved, a bunch of other.
Hang on, let me mute Keely. Huber, can you say something real quick?
Testing. Cyberpunk. The first trailer came out in 2012.
There you go, chat. Let me know. You should hear
Isn't that
Huber.
wild?
Yeah,
Otherwise, I don't know why you wouldn't
that's
be hearing
real
Huber.
wild.
I mean, they made that. It's like as soon as
Here,
they
Huber
inked the
again.
deal.
For me, because there's so much I want to tell you
And
about.
remember, like that trailer and a lot of the
Playing
stuff back
it,
then, like that
have to
was
abide by all the
that was a
official
recruitment.
embargoes. So we're
It's
gonna
like,
let CD
come
Projekt
make this
kind of
game with
Ah,
run
us.
you
Yeah.
through this,
You know?
and give you details on this game. Before we get to that, I can talk a little bit more about
Here,
Summer Game
I'll,
Fest, which
change
this is
the
all
quality
a part
real
of.
quick,
And
chat.
if you watch, before
And
you
then
know,
I'll change it
kinda,
back.
this is
That
what I'm
will that
doing
should
through-
make it go back into
through,
sync.
the end of August, although we're getting very busy with stuff on the Game Awards this year and whatnot, which we'll talk about more probably later this summer, but working very hard
Teasing
on
Game Awards.
on Game Awards, and everyone's wondering what we're doing there, and we're definitely working very hard on a plan to bring you guys Game Awards in December, and it's going to be, I think
Looks better now. Cool.
looks like it's going to be a pretty good show, although these things always change, and obviously we're unsure about the state of the world right now, where everything's going to be, so that's something that
So
we're
he's still
working on.
talking about the
Looking
countdown
forward to
froze
kind
for
of
a
sharing with you
second.
guys,
I saw that.
It went
right
right
this
over.
year.
Yeah, that was his. That
Summer
was
Game
his
Fest is
stream.
going to continue,
Oh, so there's the CD
through,
Projekt Red
the
link
rest of the
that you
summer.
could just go
This is
to?
kind of, I guess, the halfway
Yeah,
point. I was thinking about
probably.
it last night, actually.
Oh,
Although that's gonna
and
be
it
kind of
feels like
funny
we're
to.
sort of at the halfway point now. For
Yeah,
Summer
'cause you're
Game
just looking
Fest,
at the
and
Game
we've
Awards
been
channel
through a
right
lot of
now.
the sort of
well,
really
that's
big,
what was like linked to
projects
everywhere.
with some of the bigger
Hanging out with
publishers.
Keely's
and,
always
we're
fun.
2 months in. Now we get into July. And
Yeah, I said they have
I don't know.
their
It's going to be interesting to
Twitch.
see. We know that Xbox is going to have a big event that's going to be coming up in July to reveal the first gameplay of Halo Infinite. We also know.
Oh, yeah, that Halo
that,
cheese.
Halo
Ubisoft's going to have an
Infinite.
event
Yes.
a little bit earlier.
Let's go.
It's just funny though
Uh,
because of like all the
okay.
Halo
They're
things. Like I
11 to 12, so
really,
they'll be doing theirs.
Switch over.
I
to-
just
sorry,
want to
Keely.
see the game. You know, it's like Halo is just one of those franchises where like even though I know some people are really into the lore and everything, I only care about gameplay.
Totally fair.
There we go. Just
What's up, Ben?
because. Yo. Yeah, just because Keely seems like he's actually just like grabbing this feed too and streaming it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
That's like that adds an extra layer of But let's just go directly to the source.
I want to watch someone who's watching Keely.
I had until I got the theme for Last of Us 2. I had the Cyberpunk theme on since like think last E3 on my PS4.
Nice. Oh, I thought you were talking about the music.
Well, but it has background music. Yeah. That's
Will we get flagged for this?
The background music?
Yeah, this like audio soundscape going on right
probably
now.
not. Although they do have like a lot of, they've been talking about partnerships with bands and stuff. So I'm curious how much of an issue that's going to be with the demo and with the game itself when it comes out.
Will churches reveal themselves?
Their theme song is Cyberpunk. Actually, it's called Night City Wire.
Will Keanu play a big part in this presentation?
Oh yeah,
I haven't talked yet. That's okay.
There we go.
That's why you can't hear Ben. Ben hasn't been talking.
We got him.
Bada boom!
Bada boom.
Big bada boom.
Hey,
he knows it's a multi-pass.
Yo, will there be any Fifth Element cameos in Cyberpunk?
I feel like there will be a nod.
Ruby Rod. I'm curious about the nods in this game. Yeah.
Dude, there's gotta be a Matrix nod. Like 5 Matrix nods in this game.
I mean, there's... Yeah. A Matrix nod with Keanu Reeves.
John Wick.
He'll just be like, whoa.
John Wick nod.
What if they keep really delaying this because the Matrix 4 got delayed and they want to hide the first ever trailer for it in the game? Ooh. So each time it gets pushed back, they're like, gotta push back the game, gotta keep that trailer in there. Morpheus.
That actually, I would be cool with that, Damiani. The first Matrix trailer is discovered in Cyberpunk. That would be some like...
Oh, the first?
Awesome shit, dude.
You're absolutely gonna be an Agent Smith in this game. Something will be called Agent Smith.
It would be cool if there was like some really difficult like computer to hack somewhere and it did have a tease to something else, whether it's
Johnny Mnemonic.
I mean, it could be something like that, but like even if it's like a CD Projekt Red thing where it's like a DLC or they've been talking about expanding Witcher stuff, something along those lines. But it'd have to be like really hard. It'd have to be one of those things where like it takes like a bunch of people putting their heads together for a few weeks to figure it out.
Will Dragon's Dogma 2 be inside Cyberpunk? Will that happen?
We'll find out in 1 minute and 42 seconds.
It will exist in the universe, but we won't see a box or anything for it. Someone will talk about it though.
I just realized what this ambience reminds me of. Waiting in a line at a theme park.
Yeah,
like for a ride. It's like this vibe. It's like this. Like when they have those TVs
Space
out there.
Mountain vibes for
yeah, like Space
sure.
Mountain. Yeah, like exactly. Just waiting to board the ride.
I feel like with the tease they had in Witcher 3, like it would make sense to see some evidence of Ciri in Cyberpunk, but they kind of talk like that she won't be in there, but I don't know. Maybe we'll just get like
you're gonna be getting like
a memo or audio log or something like that.
Some drug lord, and she's gonna pop in real quick, and everyone's just gonna look at it, and she's gonna pop away.
And I want at least 5 minutes spent on how you can customize not only your car but your home, your apartment. I want to see.
Oh my God, Damiani, yes. Is that confirmed? Can you customize your apartment?
No, I want to see it. It better everything is gonna be in this game, right?
Look what you're doing to Huber.
Totally. This game is all about customization. Like, that would totally make sense, Damiani.
Yeah, when they showed the closet and stuff, which I don't remember if that was in any of the public demos when they were going through like all your different outfits.
Wait, they said you can't? No, chat.
No!
Chat. Do you have a source for that?
Lay me down easy, alright.
Yeah, how quickly can we inspire and then crush Huber's brain?
Very quickly.
DLC.
I want that spike.
The first expansion.
Oh!
There's too much of the world to see.
Oh, jeez.
No time spent in your apartment. Get out of that.
Uh-oh. Their feed.
What I want more than anything is they're like, hey, sorry about that delay. Here's a downloadable program.
We are getting now.
City of dreams, city of...
Hello and welcome to this, the very first episode of Night City Wire, a brand new series from us at CD Projekt Red, where we'll be talking about all things Cyberpunk 2077. For today's episode, we'll be starting with a brand new trailer. One of our
That's who you
developers will
interviewed,
be
right,
joining
Ben?
us to help unpack
Yes.
everything you're going to see. We'll have some news, an announcement about
No.
a secret collaboration. We'll be taking a look
Secret
at some Braindance
collaboration?
gameplay and welcoming back
This
our
stream
developers
is
just to
another
have a
band,
chat
maybe?
about everything you're going to see. But there is one more thing. Media
Oh my
all over
God,
the
it
world
looks even
have been
better.
getting hands-on with Cyberpunk
Customize the car.
2077,
Customize it.
and when this episode finishes, you'll be able to go and check out exactly what they thought. So, let's get started. It is
They're
time to
seeing
take a
sync
look at
issues
our
from the
brand new
stream again,
trailer,
blaming on
and
me.
after that, our lead quest designer Pavel Sasko will be joining us because I've got a feeling you're
I'll
going
do
to
it one
have.
more time for you, chat.
Let's take a look.
There you go.
That's a lot of descriptors.
Love this town. City of endless opportunity. Ready to get your cherry popped? Yeah, come on.
City like any other, just bigger.
Nah, mano, not just any other city. Legends are born here.
The major leagues. We're only here because Dex is pulling the strings. Doubt that puts us in the same league as them.
But we are. They just don't know it yet. But if you got the cojones and you know how to use them, you can do damn near anything.
Unless you catch a bullet.
Even then, you go out with a bang, right?
You know, you can make heaps more eddies as a motivational speaker.
Yo, Mr. V, a pleasure.
So what's the gig, Dex? You
Oh,
meant to
wow.
come out in one piece?
Whoa, the cars,
How about we go over the plan?
There's this prototype tech, a biochip to be precise. Job's to grab it.
Guessing it belongs to a corp.
Arasaka.
We're robbing some heavy hitters.
Thought you could blackmail me, fucker?
High risk, high reward. First rule of the afterlife.
First person
Team,
bombing.
baby.
Yeah, a lot of wolf
Goes without
person
saying, we do this on the hush.
accents.
Ideally, no bodies, not a one.
Sounds simple enough.
He's lit, assholes!
Is it gonna be dangerous?
Don't you worry, boy. We're bulletproof. Get your ass moving now!
What the fuck just happened in there?
Can't stop digging Night City.
Fucking major leagues. Happy now, Jackie?
Yep, that's fucking high! Time to bail!
Oh my god, we're so fucked.
Dex, what the fuck?
Can't risk it, V.
And you, who are you?
Fuck.
Keanu's in this game?
Yeah.
What?
So the trailer contains footage from the game's prologue only, but there was an awful lot in it. So Pavel, why don't you try and help us unpack
Ooh, even just saying it
everything
was just the
that we
prologue.
saw?
It's interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely, I can
Specifically
try.
identify.
So, what you have just seen is only the prologue of the game. So that awesome stuff is only happening in the first few quests. What the trailer shows
There's a lot
you
going
is
on.
really
Yeah,
how
yeah.
huge
Yeah.
Night City. You know, this gigantic city built of 6 completely unique districts,
Go
surrounded
straight to
by
the
the
strip
7th
club.
one
Smart,
that we call
smart.
the Badlands. As a player, you are meeting Jackie. Jackie's your friend. Now, they together are trying to reach out for something that is very precious. They are trying to reach out for this chip of immortality, this gateway to eternal life. Jackie introduces you to fixer Dexter Deshawn. He's a very important person in the social ladder of Cyberpunk. He is able to provide the player with various jobs and contracts to be able to gather money, to be able to modify their bodies, push themselves to the limits, to put their hands on the chip. But as you can expect, not everything goes as planned, and but to see it, you will have to play the game.
There are an awful lot of really cool things in this trailer, and there's a few that I would just love to talk about a little bit more for the people at home. So let's start with talking about a gang called the Mox. Now, we see a few flashes of them in this trailer. I personally think they're really cool and one of my favorites, but can you give us a little bit more information about them?
Oh yes, so the Mox is one of the gangs that player is going to interact with throughout the game. The Mox is the gang that has been formed in 2076.
So much cool stuff with the
after
lighting.
the death of Elizabeth Borden. She was called Lizzie. Now, she was an owner of a brothel and former sex worker, and she was protecting working guys and girls from harassment, from abuse, and the gang is really continuing her mission. And as a player, you are going to interact with that gang, meet multiple different NPCs, and craft your own relationship with them, and understand what they're all about.
Tons of
So
characters
earlier
in the
on, you
trailer.
did mention a 7th district, a place called the Badlands. Now, we saw a few shots of this in the trailer, but I'd love for you to give us a bit more detail about the district outside of the city walls.
Okay, so the Badlands is this
Badlands.
dead, dried out space going around the whole night.
Dread vibes.
And
Yeah,
man,
judges.
you're
Yeah.
able to traverse that space in your car or motorcycle. This is a space that is inhabited by the nomads. Nomads
GTA
are living
5.
in a different families,
poppin'.
and they're traveling
poppin'.
across that space in convoys made out of the cars and motorcycles. And as a player,
Oh.
you'll be able to traverse and
Yo,
access
we get some Mad
different
Max
type
shit
of
out here.
open world content that has been prepared specifically for you to get that awesome feel of the Badlands as an area.
In the trailer, we also saw like a completely metal creature. Now, he didn't look like he was from the Maelstrom gang. This looked like something else. So please tell the people at home, who is this giant metal monster?
Okay, so that big dude, that was Adam Smasher. He has
Oh,
been
okay, this guy.
introduced in
Jeez,
pen and
dude.
paper in Cyberpunk
Your
2020
vengeance
by
boss.
our senpai Mike Pondsmith. Adam Smasher is a fully
Dude.
converted cyborg. He is who was always
Menace.
a loyalist of Arasaka. And time has changed,
Yeah,
and in
dude, I did not wanna fight
2077
this
he
guy.
had
Can I
to
recruit him?
find his own space,
Yes, Brad, yes.
Night City. But to find out, you'll have to play the game.
In this trailer, we do see some flashes of a Ripper doc called Victor Vector. I think if people have watched our previous gameplays, they might remember
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
But I'd really
That was
like for you to
intense.
give the people at home some more information about what Ripper docs are and how they'll be interacting with them when they play Cyberpunk.
So Reaper dogs in our game, they are surgeons. They are like a
There seem to
specific
be a lot of
type
abilities on
job
show. I'm
in the
curious whether
social
they're gonna
ladder of
do like
Cyberpunk. They are
you start with a
accustomed
bunch of stuff and it gets ripped out of you or
specialized in
something.
replacing limbs to the metal.
Like,
ones.
remember,
They
like,
can
he, like,
basically
shot, like, a
update
grenade
your
out of his
body,
arm and
enhance
stuff.
your body, change you into this walking war machine. And as a player, you are going to meet different kind of Reaper dogs in the game, craft your own relationship with them. Some of them are like important characters for a story. Through that, you will invest eddies that you're gathering to turn your body into this tool that allows you to survive on the streets of Night City.
Pavel, thank you so much for joining us. I know you'll be back later in the episode because you're going to be helping us to analyze the Braindance gameplay. But before that, we do have some news to share. Earlier in the year, we announced that if you pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on Xbox One, you'll be able to play it on Xbox Series X when the console launches. And just in case you missed it, it will be the same for PlayStation players as well. If you pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on PlayStation 4, you'll also be able to play it on PlayStation 5 when the console launches. And that's not all. There will be a free upgrade for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, but we'll have more details on that.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're basically getting backwards
Before we
compatibility
reveal
at
our
launch
first look
of
at the
those
Braindance
systems.
gameplay, and welcome back.
And
to
then
the
later on,
Silver
it's going to
Chat,
be an
there is
actual
just one more thing we
next-gen
want
version.
to announce. Something that we've been working on in secret.
It'd be
for
nice
a
if
while.
they said if you want to play it on PC.
We are very
it's available
excited to
now.
announce
Trigger?
our partnership
What,
with
anime?
Studio Trigger
We get some
and
anime?
Netflix to bring you Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Dude,
Standalone
yes!
anime set in the
Whoa.
Cyberpunk
Quite
universe,
literally
which
a win for
we've
anime.
been working on for some time now. Edge Runners is due to launch in 2022. But for some more
22?
information, let's go to the team in Tokyo.
All right.
All right, well,
Check back in 2 days.
Slightly
about this
deflating.
game
Yeah,
gets
a little bit
announced right
deflating.
before it happens.
Hi, my name is
So-
Saya Elder.
so is the game
I
getting
am
delayed
the
to
Japan-based
2022?
producer for Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Kill a kill.
What I do basically on this project is that I am a fixer, to put it in the words of the Cyberpunk universe. We are a game company. We are a bunch of nerds, and wherever there are nerds, there's going to be anime fans. So it was always a dream for us to make anime. When we
The
began
correct
this
pronunciation of
project,
anime, thank
we
you.
Yeah,
were certain
right.
that we didn't want to make a recreation of the game. Cyberpunk Edge Runners is a standalone story set in the same universe. The stage is still Night
Okay.
City, but everything else is totally new. New characters, new story. I do like to think that it's going to be a great gateway for newcomers to come and check Cyberpunk game and also the Cyberpunk genre as a whole. Right now we're in Nakano, which is one of the biggest anime meccas of the world. I'm going to take you to Studio Trigger right now because we have the wonderful opportunity to talk to the dream team that will be bringing you this anime.
こんにちは。トリガーの代表取締役の大塚です。
監督の今井真です。キャラクターデザインを担当する吉成です。ゲームのサイバーパンクのファンの方、今回初めて触れる方両方に満足していただけるようにアニメを作るつもりです。よろしくお願いします。
今回はそのサイバーパンクという僕らが10代の一ファンにしか過ぎなかった頃に生まれたジャンル、そういうジャンルのものをまた時代が乱心して
I mean, that's with their schedule, this is probably why it's taking so long to come out. Yeah.
Of course. 監督に今井氏、キャラクターデザインに吉成というトリガーの最強の布陣で、トリガー10周年にふさわしい作品にしていきたいと思います。お楽しみに。
As big as an entire game.
Oh yeah, there's something.
Yep.
Yeah,
Put in wine hype
for like $30.
Yep.
Now it is time to show you some gameplay of Braindance. This is a feature that you'll experience when you play Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, what is it?
Braindance is essentially a recording of somebody else's experience.
Oh.
It allows you
Strange
to
Days.
Yo, I was about to say Strange Days.
James Cameron, baby.
Oh my God.
After the gameplay, I will be welcoming back Pavel Sasko, and we'll also be joined by Patrick Mills, our senior quest designer and all-round lore master, who will be helping to answer your questions and give you some explanation on how you'll be interacting with Braindance when you play Cyberpunk 2077.
Like watch one of those and then go to that place like after the fact.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out, and we sell the BD to those psycho freaks from the studio.
Got it.
I bet something goes wrong.
Everything on full blast. They'll spot us extra for a wicked adrenaline.
Cause chaos.
This is, man,
Going guns
there's
blazing
some
for a
Strange
robbery.
Days fans right here. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. This is the best.
For real though, real fun Angela Bassett.
Braindance editor.
Down, everybody, on the ground. I want to see you kissing the flooring. Money, now, or I will fucking drop you. I swear to God. Well, yeah, hey, now, before I blow your fucking head off.
Got that Rubik's Cube completed.
Yeah, it takes the Rubik's Cube instead of the money. Gets out.
Yeah.
Ah!
Slow, deep breaths. Your cortisol and adrenaline spiked, but the soft activated your hormone blockers. Nothing happened. You're alive and well.
Good faces.
I was just gonna say
too
the same
much.
thing.
Yeah.
Could feel the guy's pain, his stress, his hope. Hope wrapped up in something else.
Mm-hmm. Probably took a booster just before. You'll be fine. Got everything set up? Let's switch over to editing mode. I'll sever the link to the BD Roller's sensory array. You'll be able to look around freely. The scene's yours.
Wow. Sounds like
Hell
Batman level shit here.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Around, zoom in and out, whatever else you come up with.
This is the future.
Think of it as your own little sandbox. So analysis mode, you control playback and even pause when you feel the need. Then you use the editor console to unpause. Try
Especially
it.
for action sequences, like hell yeah.
Yeah, Jones.
Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out.
A car crash or something? Like, oh my god.
Dream as hell, right? Well, that's not all. You can speed things up or rewind, whatever you like.
Wow.
Give it a try. Rewind, roll it back to the top. All good, neat. Now try fast forwarding a bit.
This is some like, new spell in Witcher 4.
So, I don't know if they said they're
You
curious.
can also reset the recording. That'll take you right back to
As
the
a
beginning.
player, do you get to make these, or do you just come across these and get to mess with them like
You
this?
probably
Sounds like it's a detective thing.
This here's how you came in the first place.
So it'd be insane if you
In
could actually
analysis
create
mode,
these
you
too.
get to view and even scan details of the enviro recorded by the
Any
BD
DLC
roller.
later?
Dude, that could be a side quest, Damiani.
It's like you record your
causing
mission, and then you can
chaos
share it with
and
players.
sell it?
I will not be surprised. They say like, hey, you can record your missions and sell it to players.
It would be fun if you had to pretend to do something that you knew someone would watch later.
Yeah.
And make them think you were doing something else, so you're like kind of thinking,
you could like
you're going through the motions on a mission. That'd be really fun.
Let's move on. Now,
I love that kind of
in
subterfuge
analysis
RPG
mode,
stuff.
you can ferret out background noise and conversations if the roller got close enough. This tech records everything, every little detail, even the sights and sounds the roller
This is
was
the
never
Matrix.
aware of. To see the sources of the recorded sensory signals, switch to the audio layer in the editor. Go ahead and try that.
Audio layer.
Okay, good. Now you should see several sound signatures in the store. Choose one and hone in on it.
Pack of 6, case of Brosif, and a couple of zappers.
Okay.
Rose.
We have a deal today on 2 flavors. Cuddy and surf and turf. Everybody!
So, any thoughts?
Unbelievable. Seriously.
So like
what's happening right
unlimited.
next to me.
Like you can access all your brain and stuff, and it's like anything you ever heard you can remember and shit.
Elements in the background. Then an editor tweaks them, makes them pop. Keep playing with the sound.
And if they don't release a demo, I still hope they
sorry.
release like a character creator right now. Just shadow drop.
Anything.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely not releasing a demo right now.
Like a holographic trading card. Just something. Give me
So the big reveal is going to be who shot you.
Ev's got Karoshi optics that grab infrared.
I bet it's
meaning
Keanu
you
Reeves
should be able
shoots
to
you.
grab heat signatures from her recording.
Huh. Hella nice.
Scanning works on peeps too. Walk up to the wounded chick. Try scanning her. All right, next thing. Scroll forward to the part where our artist gets a lead injection.
Where I will fucking drop you! I
Yeah, I want to see this. Is this Double Cross or what? Who blasts him? Oh yeah, and then he sells it for more because this guy dies.
See that? They shot him and he never saw it coming.
Never
But you
seen
will. Here it comes. My favorite part of the game. See the blinking thing over the entrance? Surveillance cam. Must have caught our shooter. You'll see in a sec. Cam feeds to the screen behind the clerk.
Oh.
Roll back.
This is an interesting way of doing it.
Kid's field of vision. Then scan it.
Watch Dogs in a dream, man.
Dude, Watch Dogs wishes.
Yeah. Watch this and like shit.
His own Jumba shot him. Probably planned to all along. Must have got a nice slice of cred on the black market for a BD like this. BD freaks are ready to pay a preem for a real flatline. Anyway, if you've seen enough, you can exit. Yeah, it's impressive, right? It's too bad most of the BDs we do here are only good for flogging the log.
So Braindance is a pretty big part of the Cyberpunk universe. It's not just something used for adult films. There is an awful lot to it. And there's 2 sides I'd really like you guys to help me explore. First is the lore, so how this actually fits into the universe. And then there's the gameplay side, so how players will be interacting with it. So Patrick, could you tell us more about the lore of Braindance?
I would love to. So in the world of Cyberpunk 2077, Braindance was invented way back in the early 2000s at UC Santa Cruz. It was developed as a way of recording a person's experiences and then playing them back for someone else so that they could relive them as though it was happening to them. It was originally used for things like therapy and prisoner rehabilitation, but by 2077, it's become this global media industry, including things like movies, mass entertainment, things like that, video games, some interactive things, and of course, adult fare as well. Now, in our game, we deal a lot with black brain dances, or XBDs as we call them, and there are different types of those, but the one that you saw in the trailer just there was a flatliner. Now that's where the person recording it actually dies during the recording. And it's popular with sort of an illicit kind of a thrill, but a mercenary can also use them for various things, and you'll see that in the game, of course.
And from the gameplay perspective, we have been working a lot throughout last years trying to figure out the best way how to use the Braindance in the game as a mechanics. So what we have settled on is this Braindance editor mode. As a player, you will be able to run the Braindance in the editor mode and see different clues that have been registered on the peripheral of given actor. Now, as a player, you can slide on the timeline of that recording, back and forth, trying to uncover different clues. And that clues are actually telling a story in the game. So, as a player, you will run different investigations that will lead you to different mysteries, and you will uncover them actually using that Braindance as a mechanics in the game.
So, as Pavel was saying, we use Braindance as a storytelling tool. It's not a collectible. It's not something where you're going to go in and you're going to play it and you're going to be like, I've seen this before. What we use Braindance for is to give you a keyhole into the life of the residents of Night City. And we can explore things like childhood trauma, religion, various philosophical ideas in a way that you might not otherwise experience in a story about a mercenary on the tough streets.
So we've tried to talk about some of the aspects that we think the community will find really exciting, but you know, while you're both here, I'd love to know what is it about Cyberpunk that you guys are really excited for? Patrick, why don't you start?
So one of the things that I'm most excited about in this game is the characters and the way they interact with the world. We've got this really interesting world that stretches all the way back to the Cyberpunk 2020 source material and all of these events and all of those things, but those don't mean anything unless they connect with characters. And so when we come up with a character, we start with their function. What is this person? What do they do in the story? But we don't stop there. We go back and we figure out what was their childhood like? What was their upbringing like? What kind of obstacles did they face in this harsh reality, and did they overcome them? And how did they overcome them, or did they not overcome them, and why? And you can see all of those things in their environment, in their dialogues, in sort of how they operate in the world. And we come up with that for all of our characters. Now, you look at someone like Victor Vector, and you're going to see stories about his past in his environment and in his dialogue. You know, we come up with that stuff even if we don't use it in the game, because it helps inform us as to who these characters are.
And for me, I would not be myself if I would not say that I'm the most excited about our quests. Like with our Witcher 3 team, with Patrick and like everybody that has stayed with us since the Witcher 3 time, we really have grown so much. We have learned so much, and we have used all that experience to put them into the quest that we have made. And you will not find really a filler in this game. Like everything has a meaning. Like we put so much effort into making sure that everything is rewarding, is interesting, is talking about characters, as Patrick said, is talking about worlds, is talking about emotions, like touching the player in a really, like a real way. And I just can't wait to find out what you think.
Pavel, I know you mentioned story and quests and writing quests, and when I was last in the studio, I had a look and I saw a notebook
is
on
like,
your
yeah, we
desk,
just topped
and I would love for you to show everybody this notebook.
Okay, Holly, I mean, you asked for it. So this is my notebook. It says Salsa Quest Designer. The reason is because I dance salsa, and I'm a quest designer. So I started this notebook actually when we were really starting Cyberpunk. At the very beginning, I wrote like a first note, and it says pretty much something along the lines of that we were starting with a prototype. And then, you know, I kept on basically noting things that we've been working on for like next years. I remember once when our concept artists actually approached me, and they said that they want to take a look on my notebook. I was like, what for actually? And they took some pictures, and they told me, yeah, well, you know, because we are looking for a reference material for notes of a psychopathic killer. You may find maybe some of my notes in the game.
Pavel and Patrick, thank you so much for joining me. I'm pretty lucky because I have read some of the stories that you and the team have written for Braindance, and I'm pretty excited for people to discover them. But before we do finish today's episode, there is just one more thing we'd like to talk about. Earlier in this episode, I mentioned that media have been getting hands-on with the opening of Cyberpunk 2077, and they should be posting their impressions right about now. And if you missed anything from today's episode, don't worry, we'll be uploading everything to our channels very soon. And finally, on behalf of everybody at CD Projekt Red, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us for this, the very first episode of Night City Wire. But don't worry, we'll be back with episode 2 in just a few weeks. So, we shall see you soon.
Yeah, so probably in July sometime. Cool. Wasn't like a mega hype, but there was a nice little dive into that.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of summing it up. for sure.
I think like the way that I first understood Braindance, I thought it was going to be connected to other players, and now it's just like, oh no, this is just like an in-game NPC mechanic.
Right.
So, but still very cool. I think it's an interesting way of going about exploring some other stories and getting to know this world better.
Totally. I think he nailed it when when he was just talking about like being able to see different sides of the city, not from a hardened mercenary's perspective. So that's really cool.
Well, there was a whole conversation happening inside of that building before the guy even walked into it, and so just like, you know, that was I played some VR games that do that. It's just great, like seeing a scene and then being able to like remove people from it and then like watch like, okay, what was happening in here 5 minutes ago though. Love that stuff. And narratively, it's just, there's like so many options, so many things you can do with that.
Yeah.
Because I remember in Witcher 3, there were like a couple quests that I finished, Blood, and I would tell you like, oh, I finished that quest and I got that ending, and you just kind of stare at me and I'm like, I got the bad ending, didn't I? You're like, yeah, there's a whole like, damn it.
Ton of people have been asking. No, we didn't play it. We don't.
No, yeah, we didn't get in on this round. I'm talking to them, but yeah, it'll probably be the next round of previews that we get in on.
You get the code now, and you have 3 minutes and 30 seconds to play it and give us your impressions.
Yeah, I'm curious whether the people that do the previews will talk about the process and the experience, which they probably will be able to, because it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I hope the Braindance things aren't just for the main storyline. I hope there's a lot of optional ones of those that really
I would
excites me.
think so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would assume too. Yeah, for sure. Just like discovering those. That's like, I love meaningful collectibles. You know. And
Yeah.
I know they just like, oh, it's not just a collectible. It's like really adding to the world, but just these optional things that you can find that really take you into the city. It's awesome.
I feel like since the last time we saw a deep dive, like there were certain graphical improvements as well. Like it just seemed a little bit smoother. Like the lighting seemed a little bit better. Some of the animation seemed a little bit smoother, which is exciting because I know Hero, like one of the complaints that we had last year at E3 is just some animation jank, and to see improvements over time, I think is really encouraging. And there were just moments in the montage where I was in awe of the scale of the world. And I can imagine like the first time you step into that city and just see everything running as your computer is melting. Like that's going to be a pretty glorious moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. It looked like I haven't seen the game in a while, and like immediately I was like, oh my gosh, it looks even better than the last time. Crazy. Some pop in on the outskirts, but like, such a minor nitpick.
Right, certainly not flawless, right?
Yeah,
but yeah,
nothing is. Wild.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I'm glad I have an extra 2 months to upgrade my PC before this comes out. Particularly because, you know, like they're saying, it's like we don't exactly know when the next gen version is going to be available. You can play it on a PS5, you can play it on an Xbox Series X, but it's basically just going to be doing whatever those systems do with a PS4 game. You know, it's not going to have like the full set of upgrades to take advantage of things. So I imagine that, like some of those things like that pop in, it's gonna go away sometime in 2021 if you're playing on PlayStation 5. So
I just hope it's 60 frames on console somehow, whether that's, you know, this gen or next gen. Like if the next gen backwards compatibility just made it 60 frames, I think that would be enough. That'd be huge.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking about Elder Scrolls 6, and I wonder if it's still like you talk to an NPC and then the camera like, you know, and then they're just like, oh hey, and like Bethesda's just thinking like, we got to make these character models look really great, but like that's just how Elder Scrolls works. Like you just zoom in on the character, and every conversation, like their head is in the exact same spot, and like there's just so many different characters in the footage that we saw, and so many different types of conversations, and like, so you got the person like leaning outside the car and talking to you, or like people talking to you while you're in a chair.
Yeah.
Or, like, it's this really interesting bridge between, like, I get the sense in most of these instances we're locked, so like you can't move your character, you can maybe move your perspective, but it still is just done on to such a scale like I've never seen anything like that before. Like, all of it just seems like, oh, I'm just yeah, it's just a cutscene, but it's like, no, you're actually like, you walked to this point and you're gonna walk away from this moment, and it's just such a crazy amount of detail put to like people that might be it that you might talk to for 40 seconds then never see again for this game, and like they got their own specific animated like moment. That's crazy to me.
It was really encouraging when they were talking about like, hey, yeah, we've learned so much from The Witcher 3, not just in terms of like quality and amount of side quests, which is absolutely a high point in Witcher 3, but just listening to the GDC talk of how they make cutscenes dynamic, and they have kind of this whole system to not have that static sort of Elder Scrolls style that you're talking about,
Yeah.
Brandon, and all of the work that they've put in, and taking that experience and iterating on it. Like, I can imagine it just feels so much more natural than even from a game, you know, that came out 5 years ago. Like, think about how far they've come with the cutscenes and how it'll probably push a new standard in terms of presentation and volume at the same time. And that's so hard to do.
I remember too when they showed that it was first person, like coming off of The Witcher 3. I remember feeling like, oh, that's interesting. That's like kind of jarring. And now I'm just like so settled into the first person, and just like the immersion is like so much more by being first person. You're really in that world.
Well, it's interesting. This story, this world is so much about privacy. It's so much about, you know, like people learning your story and learning what makes you and stealing that information, literally stealing parts of your body, you know, and like, so it just kind of makes sense, like, to have that Hitchcock, like you are in the moment, like you are face to face with these people and peering into their lives. And so yeah, there is kind of a creep factor to it. And I imagine, just, you know, like even to this day, Witcher now never got like a first person mod. Like, I don't know if that, I'm sure that it probably exists on PC, but like, nothing like to what Rockstar like brought to GTA. So it's like, just them knowing they were planning on doing that for this, I imagine they're like, well, then this world has to have such a crazy level of detail, because you're going to be watching it.
Wait, has Keely got footage?
Chad keeps saying he's alluding to he's going to show footage.
They didn't recycle.
But, I mean, I'm looking at him. I'm looking at somebody driving around. Is this Keely's?
What do you got?
Keely's stream.
Blood sniffed something.
Are you looking at the watch together?
Oh yeah, I see.
He's just driving around right now.
What?
Jeez.
Let me refresh chat 1 sec. Maybe I'm
damn.
Who watches the watch together? I just got a blank screen.
This just looked like straight gameplay now.
He just name dropped GTA, gents.
Nice. There are a lot of presentations we've seen the last couple of weeks that will show a trailer and then show that trailer again and then again and again. And it's like, that was a cool trailer, man, but I didn't know this 5-minute conversation was not going to have any new footage, and they was just constantly showing new stuff. And they got footage to spare, footage for days.
Oh, you know what? This looks like it might be B-roll clips that they might have sent over. Because they had like a little interstitial that went to the logo.
Yeah.
So it's playing fine for you all.
Keely picked Corpo too.
Of course he did.
Oh yeah.
Are you really surprised that Keely picked?
Yeah.
Corporate.
Just shocked by corporate. Like, just...
Yeah, it seems like Twitch is just being crap right now for me. Just keeps cutting out.
Is it cutting out for you? Oh crap.
Yeah, unfortunately. The other stuff wasn't, but Keely's feed, for whatever reason, it keeps like stuttering and shit. I don't know what's going on with it.
Keely.
I feel like Keely's voice is getting swallowed a little bit.
Yeah. Just so much to mess around in this car.
Yeah.
And you're sort of, as you would imagine, kind of like you've got cred, you've got connections, you're street smart, and you're kind of ambitious. But you're kind of, you know, a little bit of a rebel, street kid. The nomad, nomad is a little more rogue, and corporate obviously is, you know.
Damiani, it looks like chat's not getting audio.
It's up. They're just behind.
There's three potential backstories
Also, chat,
you have,
calm down a little bit, please.
in the game, and your choice directly affects the beginning of the prologue, but it also has implications as you play through the game. So as I was playing through, there were certain dialogue choices that would pop up, and they would say, "Hey, this is the corpo dialogue option." So because I was a corpo, that allowed me to have that dialogue option.
Yeah, see, these
so
are
that's
just
something
these
I
are
think
clips
as you play through.
they provided.
Find that everyone kind of has.
But still, they're nice,
you know,
straight
has a
gameplay
different
clips.
Experience with the game, which is pretty amazing and crazy. So again, this is
Work in
stuff that I
progress
didn't
does
get.
not
Oh, he didn't get to do this mission.
But that sort of is like one of the
Interesting.
nomad.
Yeah, because it's the nomad one he was saying.
And again,
The
you
nomad
can see here
prologue.
actually on the screen, it's like a nomad option. So this is.
I like that.
Hey, is that churches?
I like that they're completely
The
different.
scale of the world
Prologues.
blew me away. The level of
Isn't it?
It sounds
detail,
very churchy.
It does sound like
That's
it.
super funny.
Nailed it.
Want to live in. And again, I love how fresh it feels, and that may seem kind of weird in a way, but it's just like so many games now. I feel like we have sort of
Aren't you like not supposed to show these?
either they're a sequel or they're kind of like.
I mean, it depends.
Who knows?
The way that they end with the logo, I think it's fine. But yeah, usually they don't want you to show them in their entirety.
Sure, it's slightly
Docks,
different.
Uber.
But
Docks.
Save the monk from
Deal at the docks.
Deal at the docks, baby. Shoot
pretty
out.
amazing and crazy. So again, this is stuff that I didn't get to play because I was. No,
Grimes
that's
plays an
like
actual
one of the
musician in the Cyberpunk
nomad,
world, according to chat. So
playthrough.
that's
Oh, I do remember
Again,
that.
You can see here actually on the screen, it's like a nomad option. So this is again a mission.
Oh,
that
he
I
just
didn't
got
get to do,
fired?
But
Yeah.
the scale of the world.
Oh, he seemed
really
pretty
blew me
okay
away.
about
The
it.
level of detail blew me away, and it's just a place that you want to live in. And again,
some kind of
combat.
some kind of
that I played, but let me talk a bit about what the combat feels like, because this is a first-person game, and you know, first-person RPG, right? So it's, you know, more in the vein of, you know, back in the day, like a System Shock or a Bioshock. But it's, what does it feel like? The gunplay to me,
YouTube link to this
felt
chat
good,
instead of a Twitch link.
but it's kind of a slower and more.
I can try the YouTube
I think
one.
somebody said they were watching on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a YouTube link, chat, I'll try that one. I think it's just a Twitch issue.
It reminded me, and I don't know if you guys remember this game.
Yeah, what game did he say?
I don't know.
Sec chat.
I
I'll get
played,
you hooked up.
but let me talk a bit about what the combat feels like, because this is a first.
Oh, blades! Holy crap!
Oh,
the gun.
Oh,
brutal.
Your head just
PC,
rolling around.
So I can't fully judge it, and I want to be honest with you guys about that. That I didn't play like, you know, on a PC, so it's hard to really judge the responsiveness. But it's definitely a more methodic style of gunplay than like a super fast-paced first-person shooter, and I didn't really mind it. It felt like it was. It felt like it was different and a little more deliberate, but it was definitely something to sort of get used to in terms of what it's like playing. But it was very responsive. The combat sequences were really fun, and the combat also, there's hacking that's involved, right? So you can go in and sort of hack screens,
many different cars.
distract people and whatnot. So there's stealth. It's not just balls to the wall action as you would kind of expect in it. This is a Street Kid playthrough.
It's like Minority Report or something.
This is something I didn't get to play myself, so I'm watching this as well. We'll get to the corpo footage in a little bit, but you know, the combat felt really good to me, and it felt super cool. This is Jackie, a character that is featured in all of the playthroughs, and he's kind of really with you in the prologue and sort of the first chapter of the game.
Never heard of thieves'
Jackie
honor.
is a super cool
Finders
guy.
keepers. I was
He's,
first. Listen, only one or two
sort
ways
of
to do this.
you grow to know him no matter what life
Either way,
path you
the ending's
choose,
the same.
and he
I'm
becomes
taking the car.
sort of a trusted friend and partner
Carlos?
to him, at least in the corpo playthrough. But I think in the other playthroughs, you actually have like a different experience with him, which is cool. So all the players, as I understand, all the playthroughs are working with him, but your relationship with him is different based on which kind of playthrough that you have. And there are also some characters that I got to experience in my playthrough as Corpo, which are different. So like you saw in the Nomad playthrough, that sort of a sheriff sort of like character. I don't even know his name because I didn't play as him. I think he may just be called Sheriff. But that's something that the Nomad playthrough you get that I didn't even get to experience. So that footage is kind of new to me. So again, completely different missions based on life paths. So you really sort of get 3 games here.
Yeah, I really like
obviously they
how much impact the life paths have.
3 unique.
We don't even need games in 2021. We'll just be doing like other playthroughs of Cyberpunk
to see. I think everyone obviously gets the same core missions. The Braindance that we'll talk about when we get to footage of that. That was a really interesting experience, sort of playing through that. But again, everyone has sort of different parts. The prologue of the game is really sort of the first part that we got to play. As they said, the trailer and whatnot came from that prologue piece. And that is, I think everyone, I believe everyone has the same first mission in the prologue, which is the pickup. And that's basically Jackie and V, the character of Jackie, who I don't know if you've seen in the footage yet. But Jackie, you'll hear more about. Well, actually, sorry, I talked about Jackie. Yeah, we showed Jackie. Sorry. So Jackie and V basically team up, and they're kind of together for the prologue. One
Who's
thing
this guy?
Is,
some corpo suit.
Yeah, man.
Jones, dude.
To play. Really, primarily, like Jackie and V are kind of the team that kick things off. So. Jackie and V basically start the game and go through a lot of the prologue together as sort of plans, and they're looking to kind of enter the mercenary world in Night City, and then Dexter Sean, who you guys saw, I think, last year in the E3 trailer, guy big smoking cigarettes, stuff like that. He works with them.
And the Braindance thing again.
Together on sort of initial heist. So that's sort of something that they need to kind of figure out and work together on. And that's really where sort of like things start out. Everyone has a bit of a different playthrough based on kind of who you are, but you make choices, and that's the thing is with this game, like there are multiple ways to go through things. There's side missions, like you would expect from a CD Projekt Red RPG. There are lots of choices that you get to make as you kind of play through it. I did that mission, and then the mission that I got to do with a lot of gameplay was the All Foods Factory. It was very combat oriented, that I'll get to talk about if we get to show some footage of that. But it's you can stealth through a factory, you can engage in combat, you can shoot your way out, you can go a bunch of different ways, but there are definitely some stealth things, and there's a pretty fun training mission. Here's Lizzie's bar, which you get to go to. This is something I did get to play as, and you get to chat with her. You can see some of the dialogue with her, but I mean, the character design is like phenomenal. And it's not just, 3 of the characters are this cool. Like literally every character you meet has an incredible just sort of sense of style and fashion. And like the world is so rich and cool.
Everything set up.
And really well done. I thought the acting was engaging. The characters are just blended into the world. It's not cutscene oriented. Everything is sort of happening. And this is the Braindance that we're going to talk about. So you saw, actually, this is the footage that we saw in Night City Wire with the Braindance. So this is a really interesting type of gameplay, and it takes a while to get used to. It's like sort of the investigation mode in a Batman game, but even more in depth. So it's kind of like a video editor, right? I do a lot of video editing, and it reminds me of video editing, in that you have the editor and then you scrub.
Oh, someone's saying that Giant Bomb wasn't in the previews either.
So
I like how you're celebrating that.
We should all have like a non-preview preview.
And basically what you can do is you can scrub through.
Well, it's crazy, like, obviously comparisons to Deus Ex, and I think of like Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. Mankind Divided came out like 4 years ago, and it feels so small.
Right.
So small compared to just the prologue we've seen in this.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that gets me the most, is they're just like, yeah, this is, 1/10 of the
zoom in
game.
on things.
Crazy.
And then basically,
yeah, I mean, the thing with Mankind Divided, you know,
there were 2
is that like
sequences
that city is practically fully realized. You know, it's like you can walk all those streets once it's all completely open, but the amount of
type of
different rooms and stuff that you can go into is pretty impressive. But this feels really dense too, as well as being huge.
Right now, as I played it, it's a little challenging sometimes because you definitely are hunting. You're kind of pixel hunting in a way to sort of try and figure out things.
Okay.
And you'll know that you have to go to the thermal layer, right? And you're like searching for an object or a clue, like in one of the other Braindance sequence, you're looking for this kind of chip or clue somewhere in.
But yeah, Mankind Divided definitely got
it's in the thermal layer.
chopped
I'll tell
up
you that.
too.
You kind of have to like watch the sequence.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about it.
Sometimes the camera
I should have brought it up.
in this, it can only be sort of around the characters in terms of how the Braindance works. So you can't necessarily scan the entire environment. So as these characters move, you'll sort of go out of signal or range. And this is the audio layer here, right? So you can see that there's some audio clues that are highlighted. You can kind of zoom into those. And this is kind of how you discover things in the game in terms of story beats and obviously, investigation beats. So
yeah, if there are like side
right,
missions of these things, if there's like, there's just like 30 extra things you can watch, it's like, goodbye.
Yeah, it's never finishing the game, Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
This game's gonna be packed with side missions for sure.
I'd never seen this
before. I ain't selling you those memories, Corpo. Like, no! Gotta start over.
Kind of an investigation mode. And I don't know how much of it is going to be in the game. It feels
I love you having access to stuff that I miss, Huber. Just like, you didn't get that side quest, Corpo?
But then you too, you're gonna have all the Corpo shit, and we're like,
certainly like a new.
You're like, Hubert, check out my Corpo shotgun.
Yeah.
That's an addition, obviously, to all of that.
Yeah, but then you'll be like, check out my cyber axe.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I'm excited about exclusive suite access. I want to get to the top of these skyscrapers in this game.
Right? I think the Braindance thing was something.
There's got to be parachuting. There's just got to.
So, Braindance, as they sort of said, is the most popular form of entertainment in the world. And it's sort of, kind of, I think came out of kind of a porn background, but allows you to basically replay memories, right? And I mean, part of this game is about
Akira Yamaoka is doing the score for the anime.
Makes sense for this to sort of be a part of it.
Oh, dang.
But it's basically the commercial production of.
He probably just found out today.
So this Braindance.
So he's like, I'm doing this?
Oh, cool.
The way you're going to sort of like gain knowledge and information on.
I love the anime council. Those three
throughout
guys.
the world. So you kind of
We are
become an
making
investigator as V and get to see through these. So again, this is kind of the kind of robbery in effect sequence that you get to go through, and you're kind of analyzing and figuring things out. So again, it reminds me of some of the Batman games, some of the investigations that you would do in those, kind of piecing together clues. And then there's another one. I don't know if they're going to show footage of that I got to play through in my playthrough that was sort of after that. And this was in Act 1, so it was a little bit further past the initial prologue stuff that I got to play through after this big all foods combat sequence that I got to play out. So again, you come out of this. This is Lizzie's bar where you sort of go into these brain dances. And that was, again, a pretty cool new feature that we got to check out in Cyberpunk as well. All right, so we're back to the Nomad playthrough. I should have played as Nomad because so much of this footage comes from Nomad, but there's going to be some Corpo stuff, I know it.
I definitely feel his frustration because it's like so many times when you'll play through something in a preview build, and then you don't get to capture, and then they give you all this footage, and like, this is not what I'm talking about. I can't show you what I played. I just have to show you this random stuff. I have no idea what's going on.
You get games that are kind of not rushed, but sort of limited in scope for launch. I mean, this is probably one of the most ambitious games of the past decade that is going to be coming out right alongside these new consoles.
That's one of the reasons with my Dirt preview that I used my capture that was like bad frame rate,
but I thought,
because the B-roll they gave me was like very little of what I was talking about.
Right? I mean, this is stuff right out of big action games that is sort of in this world. And the fact that you get really good feeling action sequences with these.
In Deus Ex, I always tried to be like Blade Runner vibes, revolver only.
Oh wow.
Level of customization and detail. I don't know if we're going to get to show sort of the perk trees or the skill trees on the character. And I think I really play with those.
Yeah, I can't wait for all those YouTube videos where
my playthrough
people just get through the game as limited
the
as
amount
possible.
of depth.
Yeah. I mean, I'm much more of a stealth hacker kind of player, so
yeah.
I'm curious how many of the weapons I'll really get into. But like this shows that like there's definitely action sequences.
That's really interesting in the hack sort of scenario is something that is different than I kind of was expecting. But you can hack kind of at any point really, and you can scan the world. So I think it's the left bumper. You kind of hold down, and you can scan the world, and then you can pick things that you want to hack with the right bumper, and you kind of go in and you can pick hacks, right? So you can do things like in one sequence, you can hack a monitor that will then distract the guards, and it'll kind of fritz out, and then when that happens, you know, it goes to the hack of the person, and then you basically, you know, they get distracted.
Oh,
and you
this
can
is
go
cool.
in and sort of, you know, take
Walk around some town.
So definitely lots of hacking you can do of kind of objects and items in the world and environment. Which one of you is my guy? The other thing is the world has a lot of emergent gameplay in it in terms of things that you can do and characters.
These guys are like brain linked or something, huh?
What's happening in the world.
Twins. Yeah.
That was something that was really, really compelling to me, is just to feel like I could kind of make choices and I could steal someone's basketball, or I could, you know, even just like watch a TV show. Like there was this talk show one part of my playthrough, I think it was called Night After Night, and it was just like running on a TV monitor and something just to watch, and other characters react to you watching it. It's the kind of stuff that you expect, honestly, from like a Rockstar game in terms of the depth and complexity of the world and the density. I think that's one word that I would probably use a lot when talking about Cyberpunk. It's just like an incredible density to the world and the experience as you play through it. It just felt like, again, every character was someone you wanted to meet, you wanted to know their story, and the entire world felt really
we're gonna
lived in,
fight
right?
this
I mean,
dude?
sometimes they're open world games where it's like there's kind of a core path, and then, you know, there's kind of the side characters.
This definitely reminds me of Witcher.
which weren't really fleshed out. And this game,
Kind of
it's
janky like
everything
it too a little bit.
feels like, I mean, the amount
Oh,
of
yeah.
art that
Was
went
it Witcher
into it
2
and
that had the like
design
first person fist fights? What am I remembering?
Like, it's literally a game where I would.
Two, I don't remember. If
I
two
don't remember
every block
first
and go into
person. I remember fighting like this in 2 though.
because there's just so much going on in it, and that's a pretty cool feeling.
Where's Yorvith?
To have when you first start playing a game, is that you want.
Don't get me started,
You
dude.
don't want to necessarily just force yourself down the you know, critical path. As I mentioned, like Johnny, you didn't even meet him in the game so far, right? So it was really kind of a story about Jackie and V that I got to kind of check out, at least in my playthrough. So, you know, I remember I did an interview with the CEO of CD Projekt Red last year at E3, and he said that Keanu's character, Johnny, has the second most lines of dialogue in the entire game to V, and I didn't even get to meet him in the first 4 hours. So that's kind of like, you know, an insane opportunity that there's a lot going on. So here's Jackie again. And again, look at how the characters live in the world, right? And these are not cutscenes. It's really well placed and scripted in a way that you don't feel like they're kind of going into story mode and pulling out of it. It all is very seamlessly done, and you know, from the motion capture to the animation to the voiceover, it really is like it's super smooth. And you know, the NPCs, they're not just standing there, right? They're kind of like sitting on the stairs, and like it's just like that's the kind of stuff that just oozes with ambiance to me and just makes the world feel lived in, which I think is a really unique and cool aspect to this game, which everyone is, you know, really excited about. Some other aspects of sort of the game as we sort of play through this again. This is not necessarily my playthrough. This is just a look at sort of a sequence from the game, and we're entering sort of afterlife here, as you can see. A few other things that I'll sort of talk about. Sort of your attributes of your character. And these are just some notes I took. You have, in terms of building out your character, you can spread your points across 5 core stats when you sort of first set up your character. And it's your body, reflex, intelligence, technical ability, and your sort of cool, your self-control. Or Jackie Wells. So those are kind of
Max
each
cool.
attribute, and they have their own perk trees around them, and you can have perk points to sort of level up. And again, I got to about level 5. I did get to level 5 in my playthrough. Is kind of where things ultimately kind of ended up for me. But again, everyone has a different play style. I played a little more
scanning you. What's up with his eyes?
More action oriented. There was a little bit of stealth. Sorry, Mr. Kojima, but I was a little more action oriented on this one. But it was really fun. And again, look at this, like after
smoking indoors, man.
Look at the characters and look at how how well placed and how lifelike it feels, right? And this is something that I think you talk about the next generation of games. And yeah, sure, it's about like raw graphic power, but it's also just the density of the experience, to me at least, and the lived-in aspect of it, that it really feels alive. And this world to me feels live. Like, look,
I like that little motion of him looking down at the seat. You don't just like kind of like pop onto a chair, you know?
We had seen screenshots of this game for so many years. We're like, yeah, it looks cool. Those are bull shots. And it's like, no, this is actually like the game and the experience. And look at these characters, how they talk to you, and it's just like phenomenal. And this is the kind of game that I think is going to become this living world, right? And you think of just the core story experience, but then down the road when they figure out, I'm sure, how to do things that are more multiplayer and experiential around all this stuff, like the world of Cyberpunk, I think is going to be something that we're going to be wanting to live in for quite a long time. Just because, again, like, you can hear some of the dialogue here, and again, I'm sure people are complaining in chat that it's chatting over it. We just want to hear it. But it's I'm sure there's lots of people posting this footage on their own. It's not the only person that has it. But it's really, again, cool to see. Look at this, like, even interactions, right? You can take a drink, talk to these guys, and everyone reacts in just such a realistic way. I'm kind of honestly blown away by the scope of it, and also a little scared that it feels so involved and intense that I have no idea when they're going to be able to actually finish this thing. But they say they're on track for later this year. But again, like the scale of this world,
here you go, Jones.
Looks, what next-gen game is going to have this level of detail to it? And again, the graphics are going to be amped up. I assume this is PC footage. I mean, this looks very similar to what I played, but again, I played over the NVIDIA GeForce Now is what we used for kind of the playthrough where they streamed it.
Yeah, so there you go. He just explained it. So yeah, basically they were remoting into Poland to play this.
There's Lizzie's bar that we actually saw, where you go in there for the Braindance. But I love that they've just been so raw and real, just kind of like releasing a bunch of gameplay footage to us to just kind of check out. And again, the Night City Wire was great as like a produced piece, but I hope you guys are just I feel like now you're getting a better sense of like what it likes to play this game. So even here, like, you can go, grab that guy's ball and throw it out, and all this is like, this is your choice in your play style, right? These are not just like cutscenes that you're kind of watching. Everything is kind of built within the game environment. And again, the scale and scope of the world, it feels so fresh. And I gotta say, the whole technology angle for an RPG, like
I don't get paid to do that.
first person, like, this is exciting to me. This is not, not traditional swords and sorcery. I mean, this is really like, it's GTA meets Blade Runner meets a little bit of Skyrim. I mean, it's got all those pieces in there, but it just feels like a fresh new world, which is, we don't get that often. Something just kind of detailed and realistic. So again, heading in here, and this is actually a Corpo playthrough. So this is kind of basically what I actually got to experience. Where you go and meet with Jackie here, and you go down to the table and kind of meet with him and chat with him. And again, look at another environment, right? Where it's like you just want to like just hang out, like talk to different characters, because it looks so good and feels so alive. So you go here, sit down with Jackie. You guys will, have a little chat here. And again, just listen to some of this dialogue. Like, it's just so good.
It's good to see you too, Jack. How you been?
Oh. Yeah, well, that's all we get. But it's just like,
sad. Well, oh, Keely.
I guess that's the end of the footage, guys. We're gonna come back to me. So
nice.
What else do I want to talk
about? Bummer.
Well, just think of how much of that game we saw today compared to just everything else we've seen. Like,
right.
I'm very excited about a lot of the stuff that we've seen this summer. Like, but just there's just something about that company, man. Just on the level that they are willing to showcase their product when they finally decide it's time to do that, and the amount of content that's in that game, you know, I'm just my head is spinning. Scary, truly scary. We're gonna have our spoiler modes, and you're gonna be telling like a 10-minute story, and we're all just gonna be staring at you like, what? And just like, yeah. And then they got on this train, and then it was, we're like, where? And it's like, oh, it's out in the desert. I'm like,
yeah.
We'll have to do a new structure. For
none of us did
mode.
that. Yeah.
Where like it's every spoiler mode is an individual ally, just a really tight shot on their face as they talk about their own experience.
Yeah.
They said a
in a room.
Confessional.
They said a few weeks for the next event.
Yeah. They'll probably do one a month or something like that.
Works for me. Heck yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
We wrapping this up?
Yeah.
Yep.
You good? Saw a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw a lot. Obviously, nothing compares to the 4 hours that they played, but
can't wait to have to buy a new GPU for this.
Right.
I think I'm most interested in just putting the combat through its paces and seeing how each individual option feels. And
yeah, I'm with you, Ben. I think combat's usually not CD Projekt's like strong point, so I am very curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like, you did get decisions as Geralt. I felt like because Witcher 3 was
the
series that I played, but I still like tried to settle into like what I thought he would do.
Oh yeah.
Whereas like it's gonna be so interesting, you know, stopping and being like, well, okay, yeah, I like that character, but I'm Corpo, man. I'm not, you know, I'm definitely thinking much more about, you know, calling back on like my tabletop experience about like really trying to step outside my comfort zone, which I rarely do. Because that's the thing, Huber, that Corpo is going to test me, man. Like I always want to do that. I always want to be a bad guy. You know, I always want to have no ethics whenever I play like an RPG, and then I eventually just like some kid as a side quest is like, can you help me? I'm like, all right, fine.
Totally.
So I just can't wait, you know, just to be the middle of submission. Some guy's like, hey, I need some help. My arm doesn't work. Can you fix it? I'm like, no, man, you got to pay me. Like,
that's why
it feels so gross.
That's why I always loved the 3 playable characters in GTA 5, Jones, because it's like, all right, if I'm Trevor, I'm going to be a madman.
Yeah.
But if I'm, you know, Franklin, I'm going to be like, all right, I'm going to be good. I'm going to try to be chill here.
I agree with you, Jones. Like, there definitely sometimes I dip into it, but it's really hard for me, I think, over a course of a full playthrough to just do the worst decision every single time. Like eventually they get to you and you're like, no, I can't do that. I don't want to kill that person.
Totally.
Some Biomutant gameplay trailer.
Oh, stop.
Watch that.
How long is it?
After Cyberpunk?
Cyberpunk to Biomutant. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, it says it's 9 minutes, but
9 minutes. Jeez.
I watch it on my own time. I'm not.
All right.
As much as I love Biomutant.
Fever Syndrome just went live, so you can watch that afterwards.
Yeah. Check that out. Upcoming releases for next month.
Yeah, if all of the Cyberpunk Nightwire things were that, you know, like that, you know, that type of content, those types of announcements, like bring it. That was great.
Yeah, it was nice. Ben, do you know if your streams are gonna be on, or you still have to check it out?
I don't know. I'm still like, even just not being the one streaming, I'm still having chat hang up, like the same problems that I was having during MK and Phantasy Star Online 2. So I will do some tests. There was some outages yesterday, so I don't know if that's what it was or if it's another problem. So I will do some tests. We might have to move the streams till later though if I'm still having problems. But yeah, right now I'm still having chat issues. Unfortunately.
And
should we watch Biomutant? Should we watch it? Are we allowed to? It's IGN apparently.
No, it's a THQ Nordic's webpage or YouTube channel. It's the official trailer on there. But it's 9 minutes. It sounds like maybe hold it. I'm down for it, but I heard some
Jones
objections.
is the swing vote.
Yeah,
I don't want to hold everyone back. Sorry, I just I got a podcast to work on. But if we want to do Biomutant, because it'll be 9 minutes. Do you want
the podcast on time, or do you want us to watch 9 minutes of Biomutant?
I mean, Jones can just leave.
It's gonna
mess up the
it'll take a second to fix everything up, so it'll have to take a minute. But I mean, we can do that.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Oh, Jones is down. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm proud of Biomutant for still being that.
Here we go,
important.
chat. You ready?
You brought it up.
Yeah.
You teased them. We got to do it.
All right.
I played Biomutant, what was that, last E3, and it was rough. Yeah. But a year is a long time to polish.
We just need to do, like, upgrade the Allies' PCs for Cyberpunk stream. That's
Dude, I'm already, like, sweating, Ben. Shit.
What? Blue Moose.
Oh, cool town there.
This game is so weird. Talk about fun characters, though. All the characters I remember bumping into had fun names and fun personalities.
Yeah, they show on writing stuff quite a bit. That animation was a little weird.
Yeah, it just like came out of the solid ground. Like it's all
slipped through the ground.
Yeah, that felt like MMO-esque right there. Cool giant turtle. This got epic.
Something about his face that's so funny.
Yeah. Are these NPCs or are these different player characters?
This is a Braindance one?
Are these the people that train?
But I remember you could like create your own character.
I think those are NPCs.
Yeah, it's really kind of hard to follow what. Boing.
Whoa.
Yeah, this music and the way this thing is cut is really off.
Yeah, I think this is like a road they're showing off, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Ooh, airship.
And then you get airships. Like that's the emotional roller coaster that is this game. Yeah, that look.
Anchor down and let's go.
So much this speaks to me.
Chad is saying that this is the B-roll over an interview they did with IGN, and now they've just put up the B-roll without the interview, and that's why everything's weird.
This seems really off.
It says 2020 gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
I just feel like between different shots, the quality of the visuals changes. And like the animation quality changes. It's a little weird.
Again, it's been a year, but when I played this, it was very, very bad a year ago.
Okay.
The combat was atrocious.
The combat seems pretty
this looks like a
weightless
Fortnite
to me.
stream.
It was, Ben. It was. There was no impact.
Yeah.
It was super floaty and just boring to do. But again, this is a year ago. Also, I remember the HUD being really weird. It was like combat was like point and click kind of thing. It was so strange.
Right.
like this shot looks way better right now. This quality, this hang gliding shot here.
Yeah. Like the character designs and stuff is definitely the strength.
You're free.
Yeah, I think that's the heartbreaking thing is I really dig the aesthetic of it. I want it to be good.
Monster
and just the world. Like I'm definitely down to explore this world.
Cool creatures, enemies.
I'll use it.
Big boys. But yeah, it's just like, what is...
Whoa, Hellmouth.
It just doesn't feel like there's any reasoning behind when they cut from one thing to another.
Yeah.
Whoa. I think considering it's B-roll for an interview.
Sure, it's just why not cut something specific that uses this?
Sure.
Wow. Spider parts.
Go mix.
Oh, I remember the mix.
Fight. Yeah.
Yeah, this is last year's demo.
There's something out of Beetlejuice.
Dude, Jumbo Puff hype.
Wait, yeah.
Wait, it's huge.
You're totally right that from scene to scene, just the graphical quality seems to
It feels like, yeah, a video made for pitch. Oh, here's a jetpack. Okay. How do you...
The depth of field is
Yeah, I think that might have been because he was focused on those enemies.
Jumbo Puff, let's go. Inside.
Is that the first button prompt?
There's a lot of really interesting ideas. It's just the execution of constant there as well.
Yeah.
So it's like I remember the sort of playing the gunplay. I really wanted to find that spot where I was like, oh, that's how it controls. And I just never got there. So when I see like, look at all these different vehicles, it's like, well, it's the same story for that. Lots of super weird boss fights, but they're all kind of variants on like big furry thing.
Coming. Wait.
When we're happy
with it.
Oh,
Okay. That's like
Again, that's the vibe where they're just like, yeah, we got all these new ideas. We got to put those in too. Just like, just stop it and clean up the game you've already made.
Cautiously optimistic, very cautious. Just the combat looks uninteresting to me. But the world exploration and the characters I'm super into.
I also don't really care about the lead. Like, I don't really know like what Biomutant's up to. Like I think they tried to sell him kind of as a badass, and then now there's like a Breath of the Wild vibe going to it, and it's just like, well, I don't really know this dude. I don't really
Yeah, it's like, what is the game about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that ties into the fact what you were saying, Jones. Like even in that footage, it seems like you do so many different things, and we aren't really attached to the central character. I don't really know like what the structure of the game is going to be like, and then what we do see seems super janky. Yeah, very cautious.
And it's like all boisterous. It's like all over the top. It's all backflips. So when you show me like it's underwater chase, it's like, sure, is this a boss fight? Is this like a new mechanic or something? Am I going to be spending 10 hours of the game in this sub, or like what,
Yeah,
hard to get the sense of how much you're going to be doing any one thing.
Sure.
Or whether like the whole game is that it's just like, walk to an open area and then what's this weird vehicle? Oh, it's like, that sounds entertaining in like a Just Cause kind of way, but like, I don't know if I would get as invested in this world as it seems like they want me to be. Especially for a game that's been this far along and this many question marks and is still like, I don't know, we're 2022 maybe. Oh no, Biomutant.
Sure.
Thanks. I was all high on Cyberpunk.
There's an Animal Crossing trailer.
No, it's a summer update, and
going swimming.
You can, yeah. It's
way more excited about swimming.
Yeah, you go swimming and diving, and new NPC to trade that stuff with, and that's really it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got 5 days to go do wedding stuff.
Yeah, and then we saw there's apparently World Ends With You anime in the works. So it'll be announced at Anime Expo.
Hell yeah, dude.
So
it'll be a crossover with the Cyberpunk anime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why it needs 2 years to cook.
Yeah.
This Trigger can't, doing 2 series at once. It's a tall order for even them. I think that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. We will be, I don't even know when our next reaction thing is going to be. All I know is the next big thing I think on the docket is Ubisoft next month on July 11th, I believe.
Yeah, let me look at the Summer Game Fest schedule.
But there's another Day of the Devs next month. There is also one other event on the schedule that I forget. And then
the other thing is the Stadia Connect, which I'm guessing we'll probably skip. We'll have to see if they tease anything.
In the words,
Keely said Xbox
Stadia
has a thing in July as well.
Yeah. Yes, the Xbox, the first party Xbox event is in July. We don't have a date for that yet, but that was probably going to be Ubisoft and Day of the Devs 2 and Microsoft first party showcase with Halo Infinite at least. So Halo, they did a teaser for that. So yeah, we got more stuff coming up right here soon, and another Cyberpunk thing in a few weeks. Yeah, we forgot about that already. Yeah. So you get another look at it in just a few weeks. So yeah, tune in for our other regularly scheduled streams, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy.
Bye.